just wonder if we're going to get too much background noise. What do you think? You'll be fine about here? Okay. Hello, listeners. You'll hear there's a few things going on behind us. That's because we're podcasting talking. My name's Will Fleming, and I'm your guest host for this edition of the Fundamental Escape podcast. With normally Mark Fitzgerald, but it's with me, Will Fleming, joined by Mark Fitzgerald. Mark, how's your day going?
It's a little bit surreal, I have to say. I'm the guest today. It's good. It's really good. We just had a panel discussion where we had a few controversial things. One of the things I thought was interesting was that apparently podcasting is a white male space. So I think I might need to find a female podcaster just to show that I'm not sexist.
I think that's a very valid point. Obviously, these are things that go totally over my head, but you're built to deal with this stuff. Now, bit of housekeeping. How many times do I need to mention Nero in this podcast?
No, he's actually got his own podcast at the moment, so I'm actually doing an update podcast for Milo on YouTube. So there's only one so far, but check that out.
So this is part 2 of mine and Mark's conversations, kind of like pondering a bit of life, wondering what's going on in this whole podcast world. Let's talk a little bit about where we are. We're at the Asia Pacific Podcast Conference. We did my little talk yesterday, which kept it...
to My Kiwi Life.
And
episode 16, check it out.
I think it might be 15, but there was this big conversation about... Basically, the story was that I... well, you know the story, right? I talked about a dick pic and how it all went horribly wrong.
Well, it's more sexism.
Well, I was sending it...
To any female podcasters, by the way, Will?
Well, it made me think about it critically. No...
Will you generically find a female podcaster now?
I'll come back to you on that. I'm just... Here we go. Bring it in. Mark, I'll hand it over.
We just found a female podcaster. So I don't know. It's Juanita...
But I'm known as Juanita Z.
Juanita Z. Tell us about your podcast.
I'm the African Kiwi.
Oh, wow.
I talk about social media. My podcast is about social media, yeah.
So what do you interview people or do you?
Yeah, pretty much. It's more about interviewing. Actually, my competitors a lot of the time I bring them in and I interview them about specific topics and subjects. Yeah.
So I'm keen to ask, as a female podcaster yourself, what are your thoughts on? Because I was interested in some of the comments. It was essentially insinuated that podcasting is a white male space, and I was like, what is that? To me, the beauty of podcasting is that anyone can do it.
Oh, yeah. Look, I do believe that anyone can do it. I think probably if you look at the demographics, it probably is a little bit more male than female, but then that's the same as like Facebook is more female than male. Like,
yeah, but the whole point to me is that it's the beauty of podcasting is that it's literally based on your talent and your content. So I would listen to podcasts that I enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you pick up podcasters that you do enjoy and you would go and listen to them. I don't think it was insinuated, but I think that, if the examples have been given out, a lot of the examples are more male examples.
I would concur. I would come to the table and say that most of the podcasts I'm aware of are male-hosted podcasts. I would 100% say that. But if I came across a female podcast that I was introduced to, I would absolutely subscribe.
Absolutely. And if a female is giving you good content, you would subscribe, wouldn't you? Yeah. So I don't believe that there is any male-female. I think podcasting is really about, how good you are, what your content is, and growing your audience. And also, I think it does depend on... whenever we talk about marketing and social media, we talk about who is your audience, and your audience might be female, for example, or might be all male.
So where can we find your podcast?
So just have a look up Juanita Z, and you will find me.
Awesome. I'm going to hand it back to you now, Will, to close things.
Awesome. This was an amazing little find that just happened right then, and it kind of like...
Exactly. Let's get back on track now.
All right, man. So... Now, this is a short break, so I'm going to go try and shovel some food in my guts, because that's how I roll, Mark. You know me. What are you hoping for out of the rest of this podcast conference? And are you taking anything away from this podcast conference for your own podcast?
Absolutely. It's really interesting to connect with people. Obviously, Cliff is here, Cliff Ravenscraft. I already did a short podcast with him yesterday. It's on YouTube, and the channel is on your iTunes. Keen. I know Natalie, the go-to girl. I'll promote her shamelessly. go-to-girl.co.nz, I think. She's doing some talk on marketing and things like that, which I'm really keen. I had a chat with her and really resonated with her ideas. So she's coming on the podcast at some point. So look forward to that. I'm absolutely keen, just in closing, to get more Kiwi content onto my podcast, because most of the people so far I've talked to have been abroad, so.
That's interesting though, because like I was saying to you this morning, your audience is, a lot of your audience is abroad, right?
Oh, 70%, yeah.
So is the stuff that you're hearing here advice for you as well, or is it mainly for Kiwis?
No, not at all. The content I'm putting out is universal. It's faith, spirituality, politics. It's not subject to location at all, which I love. So I'm keen to get more. I think I'm going to get Jimmy Hunt back on at some point. He's got a book coming out soon. Things like that. So I'm keen to bring it down to Kiwi land.
Folks, if you have a look on Twitter, and I think search the hashtag APAC Podcasts, APAC Podcasts.
I will post that immediately, so that's relevant.
Okay. But there will be some good stuff that we've been tweeting. Well, I've been tweeting things that, I feel like are general tips, because that's the stuff I'm looking for. What's the things I can connect with? What's the things that make my life as a podcaster easy? So if you're thinking about it, if you're unsure about it, hopefully there's some helpful tips there.
So we'll just leave it there.
Should we keep rolling while you answer it? This is amazing. Who's it going to be? Uh-oh. All right, I better let Mark Fitzgerald take his call. Folks, we'll see you next time on this special guest edition of the Fundamental Escape podcast with me, Will Fleming. Just wonder if we're going to get too much background noise. What do you think? You'll be about here? Okay. Hello, listeners. You'll hear there's a few things going on behind us.